and welcome to Thinking is Free, proudly brought to you by Chinmaya Mission New Zealand.
Hari Om Mishanji.
Hari Om.
So today what I think we could talk about is, like often what we talk about in these sessions is looking and attaining for true happiness.
Yes.
Number one rule that we've been talking about since the beginning is seeking that true infinite source of happiness
Within.
within,
Yes.
from within.
Yeah.
And so if that source is from within, and we're looking for some sort of contentment from the world outside and just being at peace and not wanting anything more than what we need and desire, then where do we kind of draw the line between not wanting more and then growth? Because we could say in some sense that, I'm on this path of attaining this happiness.
Inner happiness, yeah.
Inner happiness.
Yep.
And therefore that's it. That's all where do we draw the line between, this, because we're saying, there's a sense of anti-greed.
Mm-hmm.
We don't need to overindulge. But what about this notion of growth and the pursuit of growth, and why should I aim for something higher? Why should I aim to do something more? Why should I do anything? Why should I have a drive or purpose when the whole purpose and what we've been discussing is just find this inner happiness? So why not just go and sit in a little hermitage and disconnect myself and
Yes.
What is
Right. So I think if we are to summarize this idea, we'll start with the statement that spirituality and Vedanta is anti-greed. It is not anti-growth.
Mm-hmm.
And by that, you're right in recognizing that what we are saying is there is a place for contentment, being at ease with the situations outside, not putting forth efforts to manipulate it too much or change it or alter it too much, because happiness is within. This is where I'm supposed to be seeking. But at the same time, spirituality is not anti-growth.
Mm-hmm.
It does not say don't improve. It does not say don't help others. It does not say don't grow. What it is saying is stop this insatiable thirst or longing to possess more and more. We tend to work only from a place of discontentment and a need for finding happiness outside.
Yep.
We think happiness is outside,
Mm-hmm.
and therefore we work in the world. There is another way of living, is working from happiness. And if you ask, we see this in not many, but a few people, those who are absolutely passionate about what they do. And you ask them, why are you doing this?
Mm-hmm.
And they won't give you a reason for it. It's just their way of being.
Mm-hmm.
A painter continues to paint not for selling it for a particular price.
Yeah.
But it's just so natural to them. Right? Their expression is just a part of their being.
That would be more detrimental to the society if they didn't do what they were meant to be doing.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah, absolutely. So, and then there's other people who may be painting or creating artwork only for the sake of selling.
That's right. Right.
right? And that's out of a sense of incompleteness within. Whereas the other one is just a natural, spontaneous outflow of who they are. And spirituality wants us to move towards that more natural way of being, recognizing what comes to us naturally, what is in line with our swabhava. And it's asking us to work in the world outside, being in touch with what our personality type is, what that natural expression is. And when we do that, the outcome is amazing. The work that is churned out is of a extremely high quality. It will add to the world. It will benefit people. It will help people grow, society grow. And more importantly, it will help me grow as well. Not just financially, but spiritually.
Yep.
And that's the kind of work and life spirituality wants us to live. Most of us, we find a job for money.
Yep.
And every 5 days, we need 2 days off to recuperate and start all over again. And from Monday, the only thing that we look forward to is Friday. Right? Whereas when you're working in line with your swabhava, your true nature, work's not work. It's a joy where you're able to put forth 7 days a week. And therefore, back in ancient India, there was no concept of weekends. You'd work every single day of the week.
Yep.
But there is a place, and work's not 8 to 5. Work is a means to an end. But at the same time, work is in line with your swabhava, so that it's something that is so natural to you. It's who you are. It's what you have come here to express, to do. And that ease of being is what spirituality wants us to tap into.
There's a couple of things that I was thinking about when you were talking. So first, there's also spirituality isn't, when we're talking about being on this pursuit and path for happiness, and we're saying, that it's not anti-growth. Also, part of it is saying it's not also anti-charity and service as well. Like giving just because you're looking for peace and happiness doesn't mean that you shouldn't be also, there's other parts to the goal, or that add to getting to the goal, right? Would you say? Like you still have to give your time to something else. You can't just sit there like a statue and, not participate.
In society?
Society.
Yes. So this whole idea of living a life of dharma. Dharma is sustainable living, right? If you want to translate into modern terms, sustainable living. And when we say sustainable living, it cannot be a sense of well-being catered to an individual.
Yeah.
It has to take into account totality, the society or the community or the environment that an individual is in. All of that has to be encompassed when we talk about sustainable living, right? You're in architecture. When we talk about sustainable homes, what does that mean?
Means that the building is designed with products that aren't going to harm the environment, but also that you've thought about the orientation of the building, the products that go into it, the systems that have gone into it, so that the building is not going to have a negative effect on the environment,
right?
Or the people living inside of it.
Yeah. So we have taken into consideration the environment and the people, not just the building itself. Right? It's not just about energy consumption of the building, but where are the materials for the building itself sourced from?
That's right.
What impact the building is going to have on the environment? What impact the building is going to have on people?
Mm-hmm.
And all of that has been taken into account while bringing up this idea of sustainable buildings.
Mm-hmm.
Similarly, when we talk about sustainable living,
Yep.
we have to take into account the people around us, the environment around us, the society. And because we are interdependent upon each other, there is an obligation for us to take them into consideration into every action of ours, into every choice of ours that we
Mhm.
make.
Just going back to when you're talking about work not being like a 8 to 5 and the weekends, do you say it's more about living the lifestyle then? Like what I mean is, and this is what we often talk about, when we've got either the grads in the office or there's a group who think that that there's work and they separate work from life and who I am, and that's where you get, everything that happens outside of this 8 to 5 or 9 to 5.
Yeah.
And there's that clear separation. I don't do this in this space, and I can understand all of that, but
Yes.
there's a clear separation between the work I do and the person that I am.
Mm.
And then there's another group who is like, I am this person and I do these things, and time is not a barrier.
Yeah.
Space is not a barrier. And I can see where you can kind of get lost in this world where everything becomes about this, and where you're not making time for the people around you. You're not maintaining the space around you.
Yep.
But in that space, there is no time. And
Yes. So again, it's not just becoming obsessed with something, right? And that's where we start neglecting other facets of our lives. And therefore we use the word sustainable living. It's not obsessive living.
Yeah.
Right? Dharma, or figuring out a swabhava and living in line with it, is not obsessive living. It is sustainable living.
Because I think there's a lot of growth that comes from the immersive experience of being around this or being this thing 24/7.
Yes.
Whereas when you're limiting it, you're just limiting you're delaying the amount of time that you have in this practice.
Yes. Yes.
Right?
So the amount of thinking that goes on with regards to a particular topic is limited to 7 or 8 hours a day rather than 24 hours.
And then all facets of life relate back to how I am growing as a person, relating to the not necessarily the occupation. I kind of see it as it's work and play.
Yep.
It's not really working. Essentially, it's just playing and doing things that you love and enjoying.
Yes. What
that
comes
you enjoy,
naturally to you.
and what comes naturally to you.
Yes.
And then that's kind of like the framework.
Yeah.
And then past that is, I don't have to be sitting in front of the computer to be
Working. Correct.
I could be going and attending a talk or a seminar, reading a book, helping someone in the community through the lens of architecture and the work that I do.
Yes.
And that's the lifestyle,
Yes. Absolutely. So, yes, if we call that as a lifestyle, then yes, true. Generally, we understand lifestyle as as a concept that is pertaining to just a different way of living. It's not so much of a different way of living, it's a different way of thinking.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right? Lifestyle is not external so much, it's actually an internal thing.
Yeah. It's the person that I also associate it back to identity.
Yeah.
The identity of the person.
Holds.
Yeah.
Yes. And that's internal. It's not external. Correct. So when I'm in line or in sync with my personality, and I know what I stand for, and I know what comes naturally to me, and I'm doing that, no matter where I am, I'll be expressing my nature. And automatically, because I'm expressing it to such a great extent. I'm refining and honing and learning and growing. And the expression automatically is so much more effective and efficient as opposed to someone who's just doing it for a set period in time.
That's exactly what I was going to say is, okay, so imagine there is a high performing individual from, let's say, Monday to Friday, right? They're giving everything they've got from within out to society.
To their job, why even society, right?
Yep. So why do more on Saturday and Sunday? Should they not have time to rest and do their own thing and, why
We're not
do
saying
more?
don't take rest. Right?
Is it the amount of rest or the amount of...
I think it's just the idea that we need a break. If something is natural to us, we don't need a break from it. Because it's who we are. I don't need a break from myself. I need a break from other things. Right?
Mm-hmm.
But to be myself is always a joy. It's always a pleasure.
Yeah.
And so when I'm true to myself, the idea that I need a break does not come in. So yes, I may not be talking 7 days a week. But me thinking in the lines of what I do, what comes naturally to me, I don't need a break from that because just thinking along those lines, let's say, for example, I love Vedanta and Vedanta comes naturally to me. I don't need a break from Vedanta to recuperate. In fact, thinking and being around Vedantic conversations and Vedantic ideas refreshes me.
I mean it's Sunday morning,
Yes.
right? When we're recording this.
Yeah.
I've
already had one class of Vedanta at 7 in the morning on a weekend. Right?
So you don't need to feel like you need to sleep in or, today's a Sunday, I need a Netflix or something or...
Sure, but it's not as a break from Vedanta. It's as a break from I've been engaged in a particular activity and I've exerted myself.
Yeah.
And we're just taking a rest so that I can continue doing more of the same thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
But our weekends are generally not with the idea that I'm going to re-energize and go in steam on on Monday morning. We dread Monday mornings and we wait for Friday evenings.
Yeah.
Right? And if your approach to work is by Friday, I'm exhausted, I need to rest so that on Monday I can do even better than I did last week, great. There's no issues with the weekend because you're actually looking forward to doing to being in the environment that you're in, doing what you love doing. But that's not our approach to work generally.
Yeah.
We look forward to the weekend as a break from whatever we do completely and do something absolutely different, which we perhaps enjoy more.
So then I guess that's another conversation then is are you doing the right thing? And,
correct. Yeah. Is work just a means to an end of earning money? And we're not saying people should give up their jobs because their approach to work is Monday to Friday is for earning money and then I look forward to the weekend. That does not mean quit your jobs.
Yeah.
But are we really finding fulfillment in doing what we are doing? Because it's taking up 5 out of 7 days of my time, right? I'm spending so much time doing it. And if it does not bring me fulfillment and joy and happiness, should I be looking somewhere else? Should I be asking questions regarding what is it that I should be doing? So once we recognize what our swabhava is and we start aligning ourselves to it and living it, growth is just a byproduct. It's not something that we are striving for. we're just being ourselves, doing the very best, which itself is a joy.
Yep.
And the product of that is growth, success. Yeah. And there is no idea of greed over there because we're not doing it for some external result. The action itself is a fulfillment.
Yep.
Being myself itself is a joy.
Mm-hmm.
And we go back to the example of a dancer or a painter who are truly doing it for the art itself. They don't need millions of people watching them.
No.
Or appreciation in the form of the painting being valued at $1 million. The joy of dancing and the joy of singing or creating that art is an end unto itself.
Yeah. There's two things. First is just like when you're talking about that, it reminds me of your sister Marisha, you know, and seeing her journey through her drawings and her paintings and
Doodles.
Yeah. And she just, what I actually appreciate is the consistency in her practice to just do and put it out, you know.
Yeah.
And she's just doing it because she enjoys it. She's not there to, never is it like, oh, everyone look at what I'm doing. And I can 100% say that there's no intention like that behind it.
Yeah.
You know, it's just pure and it comes out. And I can also think of dancers as well. You know, people like Shita who, and also Anish, the dancer Anish,
Yes.
you know, when you see them around and they hear music,
Yeah.
they just have to move.
Yeah.
You know, it comes from within their body. They you cannot contain people like those.
Yeah.
You can't tell them just sit still.
Yeah.
Because like if they don't do it, then again, detrimental.
Yeah.
You know,
To their well-being.
They need to do it. And then also the other thing I wanted to say as well is on the grand scheme, you know, it's such a short timeline in this body,
Yeah.
you know, and to be limiting or having that limit on what you love to do, again, is so detrimental, you know,
Yeah.
on ourselves.
Yeah.
You know, so many people hinder themselves and their progress, these limitations on being the best version of themselves.
Yep.
Because there's certain barriers that are put up, that they put up.
That we put up in our own minds. Yeah.
You know, and when you remove the outside world from it and just do it for yourself, you know, just imagine the experience of that happiness, you know, or that just the feeling of completing something or having something done, or there's something in your mind that's stirring and you want to do it. Just go and do it.
Yeah. Sometimes it's easier said than done.
It is.
But at the same time,
I think I can 100% say that, because even for myself, I just want to sit there and I want to record a video of just, you know, myself. And again, it's like this conversation's been quite beneficial even for myself, because it's just like, just sit there and do it for you.
Yeah.
You know, and I've been delaying this thing for so long. The space has been set up, you know, the environment is here, all the tools are there. It's just the only person that's limiting ourselves or limiting myself is me.
Yep. It's our own mind. And next year in April, Chinmaya Mission is holding a very, very unique workshop called Make It Happen. It's the global head Swami Swarupananji here in New Zealand. Those of our listeners who are here and who have been wanting to make a change in their lives, which they know is right for them at the core of their being, but have been unable to do it. The journey that Swamiji takes us through is just amazing, and helping us gain that conviction, clarity, and recognizing that what we need to succeed or make it happen is already within us. It's just certain limiting beliefs that stop us from achieving what we are here to achieve. Right? It's my birthright, and I've just created these notions in my mind that do not allow me to be who I am.
Mm-hmm.
And so if you get a chance, attend that workshop. It's a 6-day workshop. It's fantastic. The details should be on the website soon.
Right.
But don't miss it. I just recently did it in Australia this year, and I was mind blown.
Yeah.
There's something for everyone. Whether it's you finding out what is it that you want to achieve in life, finding your purpose, or you already know what your purpose is and you want to manifest it, make it happen,
elevate it.
Yeah. Or you're already doing it and how to take it to the next level.
Yeah.
It addresses all 3 levels. So do take the opportunity and come for it if you can.
Mm-hmm. You know, how we're talking about birthright.
Yes.
When something is our birthright, where I'm getting stuck at is, how does ego play into that?
So when we say something is a birthright, it means it's what we were born with. It's what we have come here to achieve or express.
Mm-hmm.
Ego is nothing but the sum total of mental notions that we have created about ourselves, both positive and negative, up till now. And so the ego is constantly changing as well. And somewhere along the line, certain experiences have conditioned us, limited us in a negative manner, and stop us from expressing the potential that is underlying, which is already present. And so in that sense, ego is, we don't say ego is the problem, but it is those limiting beliefs that have been entertained by us, which is the limiting issue.
Yeah.
Right? Because the sum total of all thought patterns, positive and negative, go to build this ego, this personality that I consider myself to be.
Yeah, because the general perception is that if it's my birthright and I'm doing it, I'm only thinking about myself.
Yeah.
You know?
So yes, we are thinking about ourselves, but it is not thinking about ourselves only.
Yeah.
Right? It is to be done in a dharmic manner, which benefits everyone around us.
Yeah.
Because that's the right way of living. It's like saying, I'll work, but I won't pay my taxes. Right?
Yeah.
Everyone can choose to do that, but when we pay our taxes, what the government is able to do with the sum total of that revenue it generates and redistribute it into society, into creating roads, infrastructure, healthcare, no individual would have been able to do that.
Yeah.
Right? So the arrangement that is given, the arrangement that has been made that every person who earns has to pay taxes to the government and the government in turn offers something in return. This mutually beneficial behavior, what we call as a symbiotic relationship in biology, where there is a give and take and it benefits both parties in a positive manner. No one is harmed. No one loses out, really speaking. It brings about a greater efficiency than the individuals themselves. And that's what dharmic living really is.
Right.
That's what spirituality is. So it's not anti-growth. What it's saying is it's anti-greed. When we become self-centered and we only think about ourselves, that's when things start to fall apart, and then there's disharmony and disaccord and fights and wars and everything comes about.
Mm-hmm.
Not through dharmic living, through this sustainable way of living where you recognize what is natural to you, you start doing it, and because you enjoy doing it, and you've kept everyone's welfare in mind, there's only peace and harmony and prosperity everywhere.
I think that's really good, and it kind of does sum up, what we've been discussing today, where, it's almost detrimental to the world around you and the world outside us and to ourselves if we're not living as per our swabhava
and dharma.
And dharma,
Yes.
And the best thing we can do is actually to live by it.
Yes.
And therefore, that's where that separation is between anti-greed and not anti-growth.
Yeah.
By not doing something and saying, by not growing, we are not benefiting ourselves and the world around us. We have to, would you say it's a must?
Yeah. Well, I mean, sustainable living is a must. I think we've reached that point even in the world outside where we recognize that everything has to be sustainable. If we do it in an unsustainable manner, we are jeopardizing our own future, our own happiness.
We have to find the balance.
Yeah.
Right. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Thank you very much, Ishanji.
Thank you. Hari Om.
Hari Om.
Thank you for tuning in to another episode of Thinking is Free, proudly brought to you by Chinmaya Mission New Zealand. For more information on events, courses, seva projects and study groups, please visit chinmaya.org.nz. Hari Om.